Early morning, 4:45. I left the house this morning, and quite a difference since I was last here. So I'm in Trefor on the Lim Peninsula, and if you've watched maybe 2 or 3 films ago, I was here and the waves were breaking over that pier, but look, completely different. Still, calm, tide's out, mist, sun's coming up soon. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is just special. But I don't often come back quite so quickly to a place, but in my previous film that I shot here, I was with my brother, and we were up on this headland here. You couldn't barely stand up because of the wind, but I really wanted to get some images of the sea stacks, and they're just around the headland. We couldn't make it. It was just that windy. So I've come back, and I've come back for dawn. Bit of mist and fog. Moon is up, and sunrise in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So hopefully get some shots. And got a shout out on Radio 2 this morning. They were doing this thing about what you're up to this early. So I just kind of sent a message in to say, well, I left the house at 4:45 to get down here, and they gave me a shout out. So might follow that up. If I get some nice images, might send that, see what they think. But anyway, just heading up over the headland and get in position for the sea stacks. But look at the mist. I made it before sunrise. So I was a bit concerned that the sun would be up before I got here, but I was going to say I'm at the sea stacks, but obviously I'm at the sea stacks. There's another one, there's a smaller one just there, but these 3 are probably the key, and it's a lovely situation. You've got these 3, and they're just massive. This one, I'm not sure about leaving my camera. I'll take the risk. But that one, the one closest to the sea, almost looks like someone's just taken it and kind of stood it on end. But you've got this at the moment. It's a lovely bit of mist just drifting out. The moon is right kind of above the sea stacks, and then the sun is just touching on the top of the crag there. So nice. And I've got a composition. I'll brighten this up so you can see, but I'm using these rocks in the foreground as some interest. So the tide is out, so the tide's not in for another 3 or 4 hours, so might have to wait for tide to be in, but making the most of this. There's a lovely little bit of colour, moon, mist, so using this foreground interest, and then got a composition obviously with the sea stacks here, and then just picking up that sun on the peak, which is just nice shade of pink. So going to take a reading. I'm bracketing, so I'm going to take a reading off the sky, which renders that quite dark. So let's just show you what I'll do here. Go back to my bracketing option. I was only bracketing a limited amount. I'm going to go for a wider bracket, so at the 2 extremes. Back to live view to show you when it comes up. Quite a bigger variety of exposures there. So just want to make three quick images taken there, and having the moon. Yeah, I could pretend that I planned that, but having the moon there is just pure luck. So as the sun's coming up over there, so as the sun comes a bit higher, hopefully a bit more light, a bit more colour in the sky. So big bank of fog. You ever seen the film The Fog? I'm expecting a boat to arrive at any minute. Big bank of fog just lying offshore. So hopefully as the sun comes up, get some colours. And I'm going to move around here a bit, so not sure. I'm going to try some different compositions. It's a pity the tide's not in, but you can't have everything. But I'm going to try some different compositions, and as the tide comes in, I might have a bit of a wander and then come back for the tide. But we'll see. Thought I'd say a few words about composition and what you can kind of do in this sort of situation. So you arrive early morning, like I have, and you think, what? Sea stacks, mountain, bit of blue sky, sea. I'm going to set up a composition. But the tide isn't quite in, although it's a lot further in than when I first arrived. So you're potentially looking at a composition here with a load of dead space. So it's not the most attractive. If that was filled with water, great, but it's not. And it's grey and brown and really, really not very interesting. So if you stood here and try and take a composition, you've got the lovely sea stacks and the mountain, but that is rubbish, really rubbish. And that's a challenge. If the sea's coming in and out, fantastic, but it's not. So what do? So you need something to add a bit of foreground interest. So you come and look at these amazing rocks with lichen on. And in the spring and summer, there'll be sea pinks growing on these, I imagine. So thrift pink flowers growing on here. So that'd be lovely. So you come over here, you take a few steps back, and you fill that void with the rocks. So you've now done away with that empty bay, and you filled it with those lovely colourful rocks. So, you know, somewhere around here, you're getting your composition with the sea stacks, but that crappy brown area has disappeared, and you've got some lovely foreground interest with the lichen. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're ever in a situation like that, just think, oh, it's ruining my composition. Look for something that adds foreground. It doesn't always work, because obviously all depends on kind of the scene, but just hopefully that gives you an idea about how to deal with kind of issues like that. And I'm just now waiting. Actually, it's coming in quite quickly, so hopefully a bit more wave movement in the bay soon. Well, the sun's just about made it over the ridge. I won't show you, but yeah, it's quite, because it's so low, it's right in my eyes. So I'm going to turn this way a little bit. So it's just, you can see, hitting the top of the sea stack, but also the tide is in sufficiently now that we're getting some nice wave action in the bay, which kind of adds that foreground interest. I was talking earlier about the lack of foreground interest in this bay. Hopefully you can see there's a nice kind of the whiteness of the surf churning. So what do I do with that? I come with a composition. There's a perfect example there. You can see the surf coming in here. I'm still bracketing because there's quite a lot of contrast in this image. But what I'm waiting for is a nice wave to come in. There's a good example. And hopefully what I get is a nice bit of sun on this stack, nice bit of sun over here, and the whiteness of the waves helps out. So it's going to be quite contrasty because there's darkness and lightness. But I'm going to take some more images, but I'm going to have to, because of the angle of the sun is now starting just to shine on the front of the lens, and that causes all sorts of problems. So I'm going to have to use, what I'll actually use is my filter carrier. So I'm just going to hold it here to block the light from hitting the front of the lens, but I can't do that. Take an image, hold this at the same time. So, but trust me, what I'll do, I'll give you an idea. Trusty filter carrier. I'll just hold this here, so blocking the sun. It's a bit like a lens hood, but it's kind of a homemade version. So just to stop that sun. So I'm going to do that, but I'll have to say bye for now. What I might do actually is take a few more here and then head a bit further along the coast. Just fallen over. coming back down there, don't he? Bit wet. It's really kind of wet underfoot and it just slipped. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. What I think I'll do is I'm going to go head down the coast, but I think I'll make that into another film because it'll be completely different environments and kind of different setup. So I think I'll make that a separate film. So hope you enjoyed that. The tips about composition and so on and so forth. I think it was worth getting up at kind of 4:30 or whenever it was, 4:45. And thanks for all the comments on my last video about the channels, really useful. And I'm going to go and record another one and that'll be up soon. See you, bye.